A live look right now at a cold Cape Canaveral. The weather making a big schedule change for the Artemis II mission. NASA announcing today it's pushing back its wet dress rehearsal to Monday. If all goes well, the earliest the mission could launch is on Super Bowl Sunday. Mark Strassman went to the Johnson Space Center right here in Houston to see how the crew is preparing.
I think I'm about to throw a couple things at the team.
From this back room at Johnson Space Center's training facility, you're looking at trial by fire, NASA style.
So let's put in the prop malfunction, Jessica, and then give it, 5 minutes or so, and then we'll put yours in.
A series of manufactured in-flight failures.
Houston.
The goal, test the responses of the Artemis II crew sitting in the flight simulator down the hall.
It's extreme voltage. Am I getting extreme voltage? Yeah.
And that's something they're actively working on right now, right?
Lisa Voiles is the chief training officer for these simulations. Her team of gremlins dreams up the endless ways something could go wrong during any phase of the mission.
I think that sounds good. It'll give them something to talk about.
So what kind of problems are you throwing at them?
Oh, it could vary. Anything from smallest sensor failure all the way up to a fire case, an emergency case. How do you respond to that in the capsule?
They've been troubleshooting for months during dozens of simulations, both the crew in the capsule and the team in mission control.
Looks like we're getting some initial indications this could be a bellows failure.
As the simulation is going along, they're throwing problems at you.
Yep.
Here's a surprise.
Yep.
Do they ever come up with a doozy?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they certainly come up, they're very creative.
1 minute to burn. Copy.
Judd Freeling is one of the flight directors here.
Liftoff confirmed. Copy liftoff.
The second Artemis II lifts off, Freeling will sit in the hot seat, NASA's man in charge.
Can you ever truly adequately prepare for everything that could go wrong?
Not everything, but I think what the simulations we do teaches us is how to adapt, right? If you don't have a completely nailed down plan, at least you have a straw man of what the plan might be.
It's why you practice for the big game.
Exactly.
Remember the stakes in deep space. During an emergency, no one can call AAA for a tow back to Earth. That's why everyone involved understands why these simulations matter. Even if Artemis II mission specialist Jeremy Hansen jokingly calls them
these sort of evil tests for us. And we'll be sitting in the sim, all our mission controllers are in mission control, and then stuff will just start breaking. You're like, oh, come on, really, that?
Yes, that. Sometimes several flashing light crises at once.
Do they really think you're evil?
I think so, yeah, I think a little bit. You have to be a little evil, but all for good intentions. Anybody have any questions about that malfunction? We can't predict everything that will happen. I think any scenario that you work through, even if it's not the exact one that you see in space, all that experience and all that development together is going to benefit everyone.
Especially if the crew runs into trouble during its roughly 500,000-mile round trip to the moon.
Now, in terms of launch, there are several windows for it to happen. The first is February 8th. There are other launch windows on the 10th and 11th. And if it doesn't happen then, there will be more opportunities in March and in April. Now, NASA is also preparing to send crew 12 to the International Space Station. The team of 4 went into quarantine Wednesday right here in Houston. They will be joining a crew on the International Space Station and will conduct experiments that will prepare NASA for future missions to the moon and Mars. But the timing of this mission will all hinge on Artemis II.
Timing in between missions sort of depends a little bit as to what happens. For example, if Artemis were to launch, have a great wet dress, proceed into their FRR and launch on the 8th, we think we could be ready to go launch Crew 11 around the 13th.
Needless to say, this is all in flux, but Crew 12 says it is ready to change dates or hopes to see Artemis II launch while they are in space already.
The really cool part of it is that if we do launch before Artemis, we'll be on board the International Space Station, and part of their flight plan actually involves a call to the ISS.
We'll keep you updated as we get closer to launch for Crew 12 and both for Artemis II.